Welcome to Into It with the Intuitive. I'm your host, Julie Bachos. Are you ready to get into it? Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to tackle one of the questions I get asked the most often, and that is, what's the difference between intuition, an intuitive, a psychic, and a medium? And how can I tell if I have any of these gifts? And can I learn how to tap into them? Everyone has intuition. Intuition is when we know something without really understanding or knowing how we know it. This could be gut feelings about somebody, maybe our first impressions, or even inner warnings that we may get. Have you ever known the phone was going to ring before it actually rang? Or were you thinking about somebody and then they showed up? That's your intuition. Even though everyone has intuition, not everyone uses it. And the more that we use our intuition, the better we are at recognizing it when it shows up in our lives. An intuitive is someone who is sensitive to their intuition. I believe intuitives are so good at listening to their intuition because they've been practicing it and using it for quite some time. Those of us that start to develop our intuitive senses when we're older may find it a bit of a struggle just because of how we've been programmed by society and also our own limiting beliefs. Intuitives use their intuition to help guide themselves in their lives. A psychic uses their intuition to receive and give messages to someone else. So basically, you tap into your intuition for the sole benefit of helping others. I believe psychic messages are solely for the purpose of supporting and uplifting others. It's a gift that each of us can develop that not only changes others, but changes us as we realize we're all connected. Psychics only tap into the energy of those who are living. This is what differentiates it from a medium. A medium uses their intuition to connect with the spiritual realm. They are able to connect with those that have passed, both humans and animals. So to quickly recap, your intuition is when you know something without knowing how you know it. An intuitive is someone who is sensitive to their intuition, usually because they've been practicing using it for a while. A psychic is someone that uses their intuitiveness to receive and give messages to other people. And a medium connects with those who are deceased, both people and animals. So, are you finding yourself wondering, what do these skills even look like? And how do you develop these skills? These different skills are considered the C's or the clairs of intuitiveness. There are 6 clairs. The first C is clairvoyance, and that basically means clear seeing. That could mean visions of past, present, or future that you can see in your mind's eye or your third eye like a daydream. For me, this has been the most common way that I receive messages for myself and for other people, especially when I'm doing a client reading. For example, the other day, I got an image of a paper that was folded into 4s. When I asked my client about it, she remembered that she had a recipe that was folded into 4s that she had found in an old cookbook her mom had given her. That was a recipe that was addressed to her that belonged to the woman that I was connecting with. The second C is clairaudience, and that means clear hearing. So this is when we hear words, sounds, or music in our own mind's voice. Spirits can sometimes make audible sounds, but that takes a lot of energy. So normally it's something that we hear in our own mind. It's kind of like somebody's whispering in your ear, or you have a tune that keeps playing in the back of your head. I remember one time I was applying for a job and I just kept hearing something say, "Don't do it. It's not the right one. Don't do it." Unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't as good at following my intuition as I am now. I applied for and got the job, and that was the worst 6 months I'd ever spent working anywhere. It's actually the first and only job I've ever quit in my entire life. Situations like that definitely remind me that I always need to trust my intuition. The third C is clairsentience, meaning clear feeling. This is where someone can actually feel a person or spirit's emotions. So you can feel someone else's physical pain or their joy. It's very common for empaths to have clairsentience. Back when I was first starting to develop my psychic and mediumship abilities, I remember walking through Walmart and literally every person I passed, I just felt weighed down by their emotions. At the time, I hadn't yet learned how to not take on other people's emotions as my own. One of the challenges with clairsentience is feeling other people's emotions and being able to identify that they're not your own, they're somebody else's, and then releasing those emotions so that you don't carry them and take them on. Recognizing another person or spirit's emotions is just information for us to be able to better connect and understand what someone else is going through. The fourth C is clairliance, which means clear smelling. This would be being able to smell an odor that doesn't have any kind of physical source. Normally, people tend to say they smell perfume or smoke or fresh baked cookies. I've only had this happen twice in my life. Once, when I was sitting at a retreat, I smelt my grandfather's cologne, and it was as if he was sitting right next to me. The second time that I've had this happen, I was awoken from a deep sleep to the smell of campfire smoke. I ran through the house looking for what may be the cause, and there was nothing there, neither inside or outside. That's when I realized somebody was trying to tell me something. I blame it taking me so long to figure that out on it being 3 a.m. I mean, really, who can function at full capacity then? Obviously not me. It's important that we are aware of the signs and signals that the universe sends us. The fifth C is clairgustance. That means clear tasting. This is the ability to taste something that isn't actually there. I actually experienced clairgustance before I even knew what it was when I was a child. I can't tell you how many times I had the taste of a penny in my mouth. I would have much rather had the taste of chocolate chip cookies. The last C is claircognizant. This means clear knowing. When we have knowledge of people or events that we would not normally have knowledge about, that is claircognizance. This would be premonitions, forewarning, basically where we know truths about other people that just pop into our mind out of nowhere. Things that we shouldn't know, but we somehow do. Claircognizance requires tremendous faith because there's no practical explanation for why we suddenly know something. For me, this happens quite a bit in my readings and also just in my personal life when I'm out and about. One thing I've noticed throughout the years is the more that I tap into and practice this skill set, the more specific the information seems to get. People often wonder if I'm constantly getting messages all day long. In the beginning, before I learned how to regulate it, I was. Talk about information overload. That was a crazy time. But now that I've learned how to turn down the volume when I need to, it's been so much better. So to recap our C's, we have clairvoyance, which is our clear seeing, clairaudience, which is our clear hearing,
clairsentience, which is our clear feeling, clairliance, which is clear smelling, clairgustance, which is clear tasting, and claircognizance, which is clear knowing. Did you pick out any of those C's that seem to fit a little bit more with what you've experienced so far? If you did, those would be the ones that I would suggest you focus on developing first. So now you have a chance to practice tapping in and developing your intuition. Make sure before you start this activity, you are not driving nor operating heavy machinery. Close your eyes and take a moment to ground yourself. You can either be sitting up or laying down. Just make sure you're comfortable. Feel free to pause the recording as necessary. Picture a present in your mind's eye. What does it look like? Is it large or small? Can you tell what shape it is? Is it wrapped, or can you already see what it is? Can you open it? Do you even want to? Go ahead. Open it up. What do you find inside? What gift have you received? Spend some time looking over the gift. Trust your intuition to give you its meaning. Remember, even nothing is something. This is a special gift just for you, picked out especially for today to help guide and encourage you. Make sure you take some time to thank your intuition or your divine source for your special gift. Take some time to write down what you experienced during this session. And if you'd like, if you're trying to develop your psychic abilities, do the activity again. This time, ask for a present for a specific person. Be sure to share with this person what you got. Feedback always helps us grow. I'd love to hear what you experienced with the activity. Or if you're having difficulty understanding what it means, feel free to contact me via my website. You can find the information listed in the description. The more you practice using your skills every day, the faster you build up your confidence. And the faster you build your confidence up, the easier it is for you to trust what your intuition is saying to you. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content. I hope to see you back soon.